I met her the first time in '72 on the base camp of Noshak, an expedition led by Korczap, I think, Janusz Korczap. And they tried, and they did on the end, the south face. And we had long nights together discussing about Solidarność and the Polish climbers. And in reality, in this period, in the western part of the world, quite nobody knows that there are very good climbers also in Poland. And in the 70s, I met her again in '75 on the base camp of Gasherbrum 3, Gasherbrum 1, Gasherbrum 2. This one base camp when they did the highest unclimbed peak, led by Wandy, this expedition. And just after these two expeditions, I understood that she's a really feminist. She likes to do expeditions by her own, only by ladies. Later on, I went to visit her in the base camp of K2. I think when I climbed Broad Peak, I had a few hours over and we went to the base camp to see her, to speak a little bit. I think they were not successful then. I was not there when they had the tragedy on K2. Wandy was on the summit and Wandy came down safely, but afterwards was a terrible tragedy in '86. I was on the way to Nepal to do some climbs. And afterwards, especially in the period when she went out of these man-organized expeditions and tried to do their own ascents in the Alps, like the Eiger North Pillar, in Patagonia, on Cerro Torre, she tried something. I helped her for some expeditions. In Italy, finding money and especially also equipment. It was easy for me to persuade some companies to give to these small expeditions, ladies' expeditions, some money. I remember very well when she disappeared on Kanchenjunga. I spoke also a long time with Corsilio about her disappearing, and still nobody knows exactly what happened. It will remain a myth. Nobody knows, like on Everest in '24, when Mallory disappeared with Irvine. I think for the last years, she was trying too much to finish the 8,000 meter peaks in 1 year, 2 years. It was not thinkable then. Today,
of dreams,
today is possible to do also the 8,000 meter peaks in 1 year or in half a year. Nims did it. And because there is the helicopter and there is a lot of helpers and there is some pistas, pistas up on the mountains because many people are going up there. But if somebody has to do his own way up, finding the route, putting the trail, so it's not possible. But anyway, she was an avant-garde lady approaching the big mountains. And it's also strange that it was a Polish lady. Because in the 80s, I would say from the winter ascent of Mount Everest, the Polish for 1 decade showed to the rest of the climbing world that they were the leading figures in some. They took a lot of risk, but they did great things. And they learned to approach these high peaks in the 70s because they had no a culture like in Western Europe or in America, also in Japan. After the Second World War, these big mountains were climbed by French, by English, by Japanese, and by some Austrians, Swiss people, all people living around the Alps. And afterwards only some other nations came to lead in this kind of mountaineering. It's traditional mountaineering, high-class mountaineering. And these were the Eastern countries giving a life to an alpinism on high class and on high risks. And now today mountaineering it became global, but traditional mountaineering is getting less and less because most of the people are climbing indoor. It's a beautiful sport. This sport is also Olympic now. We know that they had it on the Olympic Games. On the 8,000 meter peaks, they are preparing the ways before clients are coming to the Himalayas. The Sherpas are organizing everything that afterwards you can go up quite Quite easily. But this is not the same thing Polish climbers did 40 years ago.
And you did.
And we did, yeah. Or the pioneers did. The pioneers were in much more difficult situations. You have to know that for 55 years nobody was able to climb an 8,000 meter peak because the equipment was not there, the knowledge was not there. The knowledge in some.
Infrastructure was not
there. The infrastructure was not there. It was very difficult to reach the mountains. And going in to reach the mountains was as important than climb the mountains. Today they fly into Kathmandu, base camp of Everest, 3 days of rest, and they go to Camp 2. They do not even know where they are. They go up on a way and they think this is easy because the fixed ropes are all there, the oxygen depots are there, the tents are there, and every camp is a doctor, is a guide, a cook, and so on. But if you have to do everything by yourself, it's becoming hard, especially in winter. And the Polish have all my respect, especially for approaching the mountains the hard way, on difficult routes, and also on dangerous routes, because mountaineering is especially a strong emotion, a strong experience, if to approach openly also the danger.